Good morning, good afternoon. Hope you're doing well. So I've been thinking about making this video for a little while. So you guys know that Amy and I moved to Ecuador. And some of you guys have had some questions on how we're doing, if we like it, and how we are adjusting. Okay, first off, do we like it? Actually, we love it here. The people, the food, the culture. Our expectation was reasonable about where we're going and what we're going to be doing. There's a reason for that. So Amy and I, for several years, have always talked about someday, maybe, try to retire out of country. Now, that was our dream, right? We all have them, and we both had this similar dream of maybe someday retiring out of country. There was something that kind of fell into our lap. So we were feeding that dream by getting this magazine called International Living. We thumbed through it all the time. Every time it would show up, we would sit down and just talk to each other. She would look at it, and then I would look at it, and then we started talking about our dream, right? So one day, Amy noticed this itty bitty little article. It was about a paragraph. Now, that paragraph was Ecuador Expat Journeys, and they were an educational tour of Ecuador. And so we saw that and go like, huh, that's interesting. And we looked at it, and we were considering doing something to kind of gear ourselves, out and about in the world and starting to enjoy life a little bit. Things were still a struggle, but we've been saving for a number of years to maybe do a vacation, and we decided to feed that dream. So we reached out to them, and they reached back to us fairly quickly and started asking us some questions, and we got the answers, and they told us what we needed and what we had to do to be able to go on this trip. So we took that trip, and it was definitely an educational tour. It took us in a lot of different cities and towns through Ecuador, and in doing so, they showed us the food, the culture, the people, why they were and why they were doing things. Creating a realistic expectation of Ecuador. And through that realistic expectation, Amy and I looked at each other and were like, wow, this place is really cool. So, we even took our computers and our phones, and we were pointing out to work that if you guys are interested, we might be able to work remotely. Well, that stuff can work. You can definitely work remotely in another country. The internet here, definitely legit. The phones and stuff, definitely legit. They all work just like you do right there in your own backyard. Now, we're not working for the same company that we were working for. We actually did retire. Now, we took a leap of faith. It's not going to be for everybody, but it was our leap of faith and us chasing our dream. Now, let's talk about, now that we got the dream out of the way, I want to talk about some of our experiences. First off, it was a little bit of an adjustment for both of us. One of the things is kind of releasing some of the expectations and the pace that we're used to back in the United States. The pace in the United States is hurry up and go. And if you're not 5 minutes early, you're 10 minutes late. And that's definitely not Ecuador. It's definitely a lot slower pace here. And for me, that was definitely a little bit of a struggle. I've been pushing myself all my life to just go, go, go. And there's a number of reasons why I was like that. Now, so that was one of the hardest things that I had to get used to. One of the cool things about I like here, well, I'm really enjoying the people here. The people here are very kind and sweet and very patient with somebody who tries. And I've always been that person. And what I mean by trying is I'm learning Spanish. Amy's learning Spanish. And the cool thing is that if they see that you're making an attempt, man, they're right there with you. Seriously, they really put forth the effort, and sometimes you can help them out with their English. And that's been really enjoyable. Something else that we've really enjoyed here is the food. Now, we don't go necessarily to the major grocery stores because there are those here. It's called Supermaxi, and if you need that taste of home, which from time to time, I don't mind going to the Supermaxi because, I do miss some of the taste of home. But for the most part, we go to the Mercados and the Panderias. The Mercado is like a, lack of better terms, like a farmer's market inside a building. And the Panderias is the bread stores. So a lot of the food here is fresh. They grow it, they pick it, they sell it to you. Right then, right there. The Panderias are bakeries, and here in Cuenca, there's literally Panderias everywhere. You get the smell of fresh bread. Oh, man, for me, I love the smell of fresh baked bread. Now, because of all this fresh food, there's something else that's going on. My physical health has really, really changed. Actually, Amy and my health has really, really changed. Both of us. We both lost some weight. We've gotten a little stronger and a whole lot healthier. What I mean by healthier is things hurt less or not at all, and we're getting around so much easier. Now, I was a little nervous about coming to Ecuador, coming to Cuenca, because I lived at sea level in California before, and now I live in Cuenca, which is around 8,000 to 9,000 feet. So it's at high elevation, and I was a little nervous about that change. Now, it was definitely an adjustment, and I definitely got altitude sickness here and there, and it's not necessarily the easiest thing to deal with. But, and it's not always everyone going to be able to do well with it, and I was very nervous about it. But I'm doing better. I'm doing actually really well. I get around like how I felt maybe 10, 15 years ago. I'm feeling stronger, I'm feeling faster. I breathe better. Can you believe it? Now, the reason why I'm saying something about breathing better is because a number of years ago, I got sick with something called valley fever. And it's basically a spore in the dirt that attacks your lungs. So in California, actually on the western hemisphere of the United States, there's this spore in the dirt that's embedded in that when the earth gets turned up, if you're working in your yard or if there's some construction going on or it's a windy day and the dirt's just kind of floating through the air, that spore is kind of going everywhere. And one day it got me, and I started off not feeling very well, started feeling a little sick, and push came to shove, and I got really sick and was sick for about 8 months. So, and I struggled really, really hard with that. That's why I was a little nervous about moving to elevation, but I'm not having any breathing problems. I rarely have any altitude sickness anymore. I'm feeling much better and much stronger than I have in so many years. But I want to give you guys some realistic expectations. It's a different way of life. It's not the same as in the United States. Now, different isn't necessarily wrong. It's just different, right? So, one of the things that I really enjoy is how they interact with each other and the way they interact with us. See, because Amy and I both make an effort, we're really being embraced by Ecuadorian people. I don't see that with every expat. And some people, they don't do quite as well as some others. And I contribute that to that simple fact. So when you're in another country, don't forget, you're in another country. You're not in your own backyard, and you should treat those people in their country with respect. Now, we've had a bunch of fun things that we've done since we've been here. We've gone to a couple of, like, the botanical gardens here. We've gone to some ruins. We've gone kind of to some of the festivals and the things that are going on here in the city. And these people really know how to have a good time. Now, I did tell you guys that I was going to start buffing out our YouTube channel and kind of show you the things that are going on here. Now, there's a reason why that's been slow coming. And that's because of the adjustments that we're going through and some of the growing pains. We've had some ups and downs, and I really don't want to bore you with those kind of details. And the ups and downs aren't really hard things. There are some unfortunate things that happen to everyone everywhere, and it's not really bad. It's just some of the delays that we're going through because we're a hurry up and go type of people. It was just, those types of things. Those growing pains, slowing down, right? So, we did get introduced to a few people here and made some friends. Now, there's this one guy, his name happens to be Kevin. Now, Kevin, we were introduced to as somebody that kind of helped us navigate the city and kind of point out a few things that make life a little easier. He kind of pulled us around the city, told us about a few apps that make things a little bit easier. There's a bus app and a tram app, they're one, and then there's a taxi app to be able to navigate the city a little bit easier. He also kind of pulled us to where we need to go to be able to get, say, the bus card and how to load it to be able to use it, and the tram card as well, right? Now, with those couple of things, we were able to get around the city a little bit easier because, you don't know where you're at, right? Now, he did a few things for us. He kind of talked to us about and kind of eased our mind about the people again, and, just to go out there and enjoy life. And we definitely did that. He also kind of helped us find the place that we're living right now. He kind of gave us a little bit of an interview, not like, are you looking for this, that, or this? No, he was kind of asking us how we wanted to live. And what I mean by that is if we want to be just with expats or if we just want to be with Ecuadorians, like full immersion, or a little bit of both. And if we want to be on the outskirts of the city, in the middle of the city, or somewhere in the middle. If we want to be close to Mercados or the major grocery stores and the malls. So those types of things, right? And in doing so, we found this absolutely amazing place that Amy and I absolutely do love. So now that you guys know that we're doing well, if you ever have a question, just reach out. I'm happy to let you know how I'm doing, how we're doing. And if you're interested in something like this, reach out. Okay? Now, if it gets really busy with a whole lot of people reaching out, it may take me a little while to respond back to you. But you know me, I don't mind giving advice, but I'll give you realistic expectation. And I'll definitely be frank with you. I'll definitely tell you if you're going to be here or anywhere for that matter in another country, I'm definitely going to tell you you really do need to embrace the people and the culture. Because if you don't, you're not going to like it. So, do me a favor today, guys. If you get a chance, reach out and give someone a hug. Because as my children always did say, hugs, they make your heart smile.